Welcome back to Satisfactory, everybody. I was working on a new base. I completely redesigned my base, built it all from scratch, from the ground up, rebuilt this whole base. I was almost finished with it. I was maybe halfway through recording the video for it, and Satisfactory got a game update. So, I don't know what all this is going to change. If it's going to break my base, or if I've got to redesign it again, but there's a big update. First of all, let me go over what I've done quickly around my base. We were on the ground. I basically just built on top of, or above, I guess I should say, where we were at. Right there's our space elevator. And what I've done is I've built up. I built a framework way up. I built a huge, massive base using a lot of concrete, all right? A lot of concrete to build all that. So anyways, our old base, this is where we were producing our fuel generators up here with our plastics and things like that, rubber being produced up there. I tore all that out. I still need to tear out the concrete, obviously. I tore out most of the factory I had going on down here. I've still got a few storage containers and just a few little odds and ends here and there I need to clean up. But most of this down here has been completely demolished. Didn't really even get to run that long, but it's all being taken down. And what I'm doing is setting everything up because I realized that a lot of this down here was in my way, like the cliff walls. I was limited building from this cliff wall to this cliff wall to that cliff wall. That was my area, and I was really limited. So I thought, why don't I just build up? Instead of trying to expand outwards, just go up, and I have a lot more room. Oh man, I can almost reach that guy. I will have a lot more room above, right? And so I came around the cliffside of the mountain up here and placed a foundation, and then realized, yeah, this could work. I wasn't thinking outside of the box. I was thinking in terms of games I was very familiar with, like 7 Days to Die and things like that have gravity in their game, and so you need supporting beams and things like that to support a structure like this. Now, that doesn't exist in Satisfactory. You don't have to worry about that. So you can make a massive floating base. I mean, it's connected to that cliff wall right there and that cliff wall over there, but it's practically floating, everything in between, right? There's nothing connecting it over there or over there at all. So, what I've done is I tried to streamline my design and take advantage of this big flat area so everything can be nice and neat and organized. And kind of the way I've done it, of course I've got my copper coming in on this side. And the way I'm trying this, I don't know that this is any more efficient than the way I was doing it before, but I've got my copper being mined over there and sent up here to smelters, right? So I've got, I don't know, 3 or 6 smelters. I forget how many I'm using. I think it's 6 smelters. Yeah, 6 smelters for copper, and then I've got, I want to say 4 or, no, it's more than 4. Let me count them. 1, 2, no, it's 4. 4 constructors, two for wire and 2 for cable, producing the finished goods, right? And then I'm shipping them over, dumping them into storage containers. I don't currently have a use for cable, so I have an abundance of it. Well, I mean, you use it to run wiring around the base, but I haven't done that. I haven't finished with my wiring yet. So I've got all my copper wire coming into this storage container, all my copper cable, or all my cable coming into that storage container. And then I did the same thing over there with iron, except that I've got ingots coming up being manufactured into finished products instead of raw ore. I've actually taken the step to produce the ingots first on the ground level below because I already had all that set up. So it was really simple to just take those ingots upstairs and start working on it. I redid my fuel setup here. We got the oil. The raw oil coming in here. I've also got my steel products. My steel products are being produced over there next to my my coal mine. I have a coal mine and an iron node right next to it, so I'm producing steel right there. And I'm going ahead and start producing the finished goods as well, and I'm just shipping them up here next to the oil conveyor belts. So We've got the finished steel goods coming in, and they're going off to where they need to go. I'm using splitters because I find that some of these goods need to go in a couple of different places, so I've had to use some splitters kind of creatively here and there, and that's what I did right here. You can see I've got all of my oil coming in from our oil refinery way out where our oil mining. Is it mining or drilling? Drilling, right? Anyways, we're producing a lot of barrels of oil, and it's coming up here and it's dumping into our refineries. I've got 3 refineries, one producing plastics, one producing rubber, and one producing fuel. The fuel is running out into a storage container. Actually, so all of them are running into a storage container, just a little bit set up a little bit differently because they all have to go in different areas or different parts of the base for their finished good. But the fuel is just used to power generators. And I am producing a ton of power. I kind of wanted to go overkill so I wouldn't have to worry about power again. I've got 4 fuel generators and I think 12 coal generators. The coal is being produced in another area where I kind of thought outside of the box. I don't say it's outside of the box. It's different than... I had to think about it a little bit differently. That's why it's been so long since I made a video on Satisfactory. It's because I had to plan a lot of this. There's my coal, and I think that's 12. Yeah, it's 3 rows of 4. So that's 12 coal generators out there. And all I did, you know, I kept trying to... The way I was doing it is taking the coal and running the coal along conveyor belts all over the map to everywhere I needed coal. I needed coal over here, I needed coal over there, I needed coal over here. Coal. So I was just shipping coal all over the place. Well, instead of that, I thought, why not just ship the energy? Not the coal itself, just move the energy. So now, instead of conveyor belts all over the place, I've just got cables. And cables are much tidier and cleaner and neater looking than conveyor belts. So I've got one conveyor belt coming up here feeding this entire setup. We've got coal coming in here into all these splitters going into each generator. And you see I've got all my cabling set up here and a bunch of splitters for the cables. Cables are going to be running where all the conveyors used to be. The conveyor belt for the coal wraps around, it turns, and it dumps into 4 more. And then it does the same thing on this side. It turns and dumps into 4 more coal generators. Altogether, we have a capacity of 1,250 megawatts. It's huge power generation. I went overkill. It's at least double what we're currently using. And, well, I wanted to have room for expansion without having to worry about power again for a while. And with any luck, I won't have to worry about power for a while. So over here, as you can see, instead of running a conveyor belt over here to power all this stuff, I just have one power line to power all this stuff over here. On this side, I just have one, I don't know if you can see it from here, but I just have one power line going up, and then it splits off into everything that needs power up there. So it's much cleaner, it's much more efficient this way to just move one power line across the map instead of conveyor belts going everywhere, right? And that was the idea. I just had to think about the game a little bit differently. Like I said, that's why it's been so long since there was an update, or since I posted a video here. Down here is my iron production, and I've also got all my quick wire being produced down here as well. The conveyors are kind of a mess right here, but it's efficient. It gets the job done. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, I think I've got 8 iron nodes being mined and turned into ingots, and all the ingots are running up one conveyor belt. They're all dumping into this one conveyor belt right here, and then it's being moved uphill along with the quick wire to the base. And all the ingots are being turned into products right there. They're various products. The quick wire is running to the only facility that needs it right here. This is the only production that needs the quick wire. Well, it's not this one. It's the next one. That's where we're producing the AI cores. Is that what they're? AI limiters. So that's the only thing that is using the quick wire right now. It's quick wire and circuit boards to make the AI limiters, which we need to make these supercomputers, which is my next step, is start setting those up. But anyways, I've got all my iron being produced over here into its various goods. They're dumping into different storage containers, and then I've got conveyor belts splitting those out to wherever they need to go to various productions. So, you know, we got like iron pipes coming over here to make screws, and screws, well, it's not this one, but screws coming out. There's my screws being produced. The screws are coming out into assemblers to make other things like rotors, and each various parts. So the conveyor belt's a little crazy around here, but it's much cleaner from looking at it. It's much less confusing. It's much more simple. It's much more simplified, I guess I should say. So I've got all my iron production right here in this area. Over there, I've got all my copper production in one area. Right over there, I've got all my steel production in one area. Right there, I've got all my fuel and refineries, and then the generators all in one area. So I've kind of, you know, parceled everything out to its own little places, and then everything is being produced. I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting storage containers all along this wall, this back edge over here, and all my finished goods. I'm going to have a storage container, at least one storage container out here to house each individual product, each finished good, so that we have one massive storage system over here, and that anytime we need anything, we just come to one centralized location, grab what we need, and we're good to go. Well, all that's cool and everything, and I'm not quite done with the base because I was going to put my, or not assemblers, what's the next thing? The manufacturers was the next step I had to do, because I have all my assemblers producing everything, I have all my constructors producing everything. I needed to start setting up my manufacturers to build like computers and supercomputers and that sort of thing. Well, the game updated today. We got a big update, Lots of new things came out in this update. There are new ores to mine. I think there's sulfur and quartz. They have actual nodes now. You can mine them. You can actually produce stuff with them. There are new buildings we can build. There's a new vehicle we can build. Lots and lots of new stuff in this new update. I don't remember all of it off the top of my head from reading the patch notes, but there's tons of stuff. So first of all, I think we need to start looking for some of the new resources. They are not popping up right here, so I'm assuming we need to research them over in the at the hub. So let me run over to my hub. I actually need to build a hub up here. It's still downstairs below here, but I will eventually build the hub up here so that everything's in one place, and it's much more convenient that way, right? Instead of having to go up and down the stairs. One of the new things they made is a conveyor elevator, which allows you to transport goods, which will help me a lot cleaning up these dumb ramps where I'm having to ship my product up these ramps. Well, these elevators should fix that, make it much cleaner and neater, and it will actually, like, the way I understand it is, like, your conveyor belt will run into the elevator, and the elevator will take it up to wherever you need it. So it should eliminate a lot of these crazy conveyor belts all over the map and things like that. Let me see, my hub is over here. Let's see if we can get an idea of what some of these new, for the sulfur, if we can start looking out for this sulfur, and I think the other one was silicone, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a new tier in the hub at all? So there's nothing new here. Wow, do we have to research it first, or, because I think I've found a little bit, like just small little pockets of silicone. And let me see if I've got any in my storage here. I've got silica. There it is. I'm saying silicone, so excuse me. Silica. I found some of it in small little pockets here and there. And the same thing with the quartz. I found little small pockets of it. So I guess we need to research it to be able to figure out what we can make with it. Because I'm not seeing anything immediate in my... Unless it's like this. Unless you have to make it inside a... Ooh, I didn't think about it. Unless it changes some of the recipes currently. Let's see if we can study it. Alien organs we can study? Oh, that's neat. I didn't know I was missing that. So yeah, there's not anything new here. I'm gonna have to play around with it and figure out what is new, what new items we can make with it. But I know there's a new vehicle, and we need to figure out how to make that as well. Let's see, is that going to be in the vehicles subsection? Yes, but I don't see it. So, did my game not update all the way?
2 hours later.
Alright, so something about this new update has bugged my game, so I had to restart. And I'm building a new base in a different area. This is a little bit different than where we were. We were further over west, closer to that area over there. I've decided to build this one closer to the waterfall just because it's nice looking and it's cool ambience. And I was wondering if I could actually cross over to that area and explore it, Because there doesn't appear to be any way to drive. I mean, obviously there's no way to drive over there. I mean, I suppose I could swim over there. But I don't want to swim that far because that lake is huge. So I thought maybe I could make a path over there. Anyways, so this is where I'm going to build my new base. I've literally started over already. And there is something down there. I can't tell if that's a power slug. It may be a purple power slug. We may have to build a ramp down there to get to that. One of the other cool things in this update is that you can equip multiple items at the same time. Finally, you have it's not, I won't call it a hot bar for your weapons, but you can just use the mouse wheel and scroll between two equipped items. So right now, I just literally just started off like about 2 hours ago, and I've got the Xeno Zapper, you know, the very first basic little bug zapper weapon, and the chainsaw I just got. So that's really, really nice because it will make things much easier. You can equip two weapons at the same time, and you can just hot swap between them. Hopefully, they're going to do the same thing for the body and find a way to implement that with a keyboard where you don't have to, you know, unequip your jump boots to equip your jetpack and that sort of thing. Maybe that'll come in a later update. It's not in the game yet. But yeah, so I'm going to be building a new base. So give me a couple of days. It's going to be a few days before I can finish this base and continue where we left off on the quartz and the sulfur. That was my problem. I was not able to pick up any items. Like, I could pick up items off the ground and stuff, but it wasn't showing up on my screen. And also, I could not research anything new. And to unlock the new tiers, you need to research sulfur and research quartz. And for whatever reason, my game or my save file was bugged with this new update, and I was not able to research the new items. Sulfur is going to be used to make gunpowder. All right, gunpowder, guys. You know what gunpowder means? Yeah, bullets, which means guns. We're going to get a rifle. A rifle. It's in tier 4. I've already found sulfur and started researching it here. Well, there's another, I think if we find more of it, there's another further research we can do later. But anyways, I've got to get back to work on this new base. All this is just preliminary, right? I'm just down here mining iron and copper and stuff in this little area. Everything will move up there to that base where it will be a permanent base up there. But that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to see more content. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Post me any comments or questions down below. Hey, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.